gang violence and other kind of violence.
Guess what? I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
From calling her a black mammy nigga bitch. I'm telling you, I know a lot of you thinking I'm trolling and I'm being harsh, but I'm telling you, man, that's a coping thing for him. He has to say, wow. He has to say it so that he won't blurt out impulsively like I would and say, would just shut your black mammy ass up. See, she'd be so shocked. Ooh, why you call me that? I'd have said, Kunta Kinte, can you be quiet? You ask me a question, I'm giving you an answer, and then you're cutting me off 3 words into me giving you an answer. Let me bring up Black Gen Z. I don't want to keep him waiting. What's up, sir? Did you see the interview, sir? I don't want to keep you waiting in the back, so we can play snippets of it here and there. Did you see the interview?
Yeah, I saw the interview. It was extremely difficult to watch. It was difficult to sit through. The woman on the Breakfast Club, she did the same exact thing to Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
And she obviously is indoctrinated with the black liberal mindset and talking points. And Larry Elder, he obviously has a lot more information in his pinky toe than this woman does in her brain. So the problem is the community as a whole will empathize with her talking points more than Larry Elder's because, we obviously in the Black community, it's a matriarchy. So, our appeal to authority is a Black woman, even if she's wrong as hell.
Yeah.
So people on the Breakfast Club, like if you look at the comments, they're like, oh, she owned him. She just destroyed him. Like they think that she won the argument. And that is, one of the biggest issues that it's almost insurmountable because if you think that she got the upper leg in this conversation, you're out of your mind.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to call her what she is. She's a mammy. When the mammy, is asking him what systems do Blacks control, does she not realize that local politics, county politics, state politics, does she not realize that the education, does she not realize that the police are systems does she not realize that? Because okay.
I wish Larry Elder would have just popped off and said, hey, you got Mayor LaToya Cantrell in New Orleans. You got Andre Dickens in Atlanta. You got Eric Adams in New York City. You got London Breed in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I mean, we have all this Black leadership in major, heavily populated Democratic cities. You have Black DAs. You got Kim Foxx in Chicago. We got Brandon Johnson, the mayor in Chicago. You have the DA Jason Williams, who was being investigated by the IRS for tax fraud in New Orleans. So we've got so much representation. It's leaking over. Like we're overrepresented. As a matter of fact, if you look at exactly. If you look at the right, like you said, if you compare the population of Blacks to how many are in government, we're actually overrepresented. So, this woman, she absolutely doesn't know what she's talking about. And it's so disheartening to see Charlemagne the God's fall because, I used to listen to the Breakfast Club back in the day when I was in high school because I did radio. And he wasn't as like happy-go-lucky with the Democratic policies as he is now. It's like it's almost like he's being paid to have the same talking points and can't go against them. And then there was, I think he did a interview with, it was either Obama or Kamala Harris, where he pushed back on one of them. I think it was Kamala Harris. So he pushed back on Kamala Harris on one of her talking points. And she basically tried to embarrass him and, tried to take away his Black card and whatnot. Yeah. And, he felt some type of way about that. But instead of questioning his whole paradigm and the way that he was, interpreting information about the Black community. It's like, her shaming tactics towards him actually worked. And he hasn't really challenged any type of democratic narrative ever since. And also, Charlemagne back in the day, he used to be one of the main ones. Like, I ain't going nowhere where niggas is at. Like, I don't want to have to go nowhere where I need to carry a gun. Like, if you go back to because I used to listen to the whole radio show. Yeah, because there was a guy called Apollo, and he used to break down the Breakfast Club radio shows and get rid of all the commercials, and it'd just be like an hour 20 straight through from the 6 a.m. show all the way to when they finish. And he used to always say, yo, I ain't going nowhere where niggas is at, like all this kind of stuff. And then now he's done like a complete 180, and it's super evident in, the way that he speaks and then the people that he aligns himself with. So, I mean, it's quite interesting to see, the way that he's kind of postured himself in these political debates, because he knows better. I mean, he does the Brilliant Idiots with Andrew Schultz, and Andrew Schultz is more conservative, and they used to get into like debates about, Black issues and whatnot. And Andrew Schultz always used to eat him up. Like, he used to destroy him every single time. But Charlemagne has this cognitive dissonance where he can't admit when he's wrong. He also can't admit when other Black people are wrong. But it's ironic because he does the donkey of the day every single day. And the majority of the people that he does donkey of the day toward are Black people. If you look at his whole catalog of donkey of the day, most of the time, the donkey is being given to Black people on his show. So, yeah.
So I get you. So it may not be low IQ with him. It just may be he's just a sellout. What about DJ Envy? He looks very disinterested. Go ahead.
So DJ Envy is one of those Black guys who can't really articulate his political views and his political ideology. I mean, he probably doesn't even really have anything to say. He's more of the, okay, I believe what I believe. And the funny thing is, he's barely Black. You know what I'm saying? This man is a shade away from being Caucasian. Yeah. So is his wife, so are his kids, Exactly. So it's like, if you want to talk about Black, then it's almost like he can't even really speak, because it was a point where he was claiming he was Puerto Rican for a while. So DJ Envy, he doesn't really have a dog in this fight. But he sits there and he, has this condescending look on his face as if Larry Elder isn't saying something that is genuine and authentic. And the issue is, we all know the issues in the Black community. Every Black person knows the issue in the Black community. And we know that probably our number one issue is the violence, the murder, the crime. Yeah. And the Breakfast Club know that too. They cover rappers and they see all these rappers getting killed. And every time a rapper gets killed, Charlemagne's like, man, I wish these young brothers would just realize that they got a lot of life to live and all this, And it's like, well, you're perpetuating the violence and you're enabling them if you don't call it out, when you have somebody who is eloquent and competent enough to really give you a bird's eye view of what's actually going on. Because Larry Elder, he's involved in politics. He ran for governor in the state of California and whatnot. So he knows what's going on. He knows the actual issues and he knows the policies that will fix these issues. But Charlemagne is just so dismissive of Larry Elder. And then they have that, the hyena barking in the background. She's not even live. She's not even there in person. She's on a freaking Zoom call, and which is disrespectful to your guest. I have no clue. I guess she's there to replace Angela Yee.
Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah, but I don't know why she doesn't come in studio, whatnot. I think it's pretty unprofessional. They got that big ass studio, and then you got a co-host coming in on a Zoom call. I can understand if she one day or 2 days, she might need to not come to the studio. But the fact that every time I see her in an interview, she's on a Zoom call, like, how are you even a part of the show?
Do you think that you laid it out pretty good about Charlemagne and you laid it out good about DJ Envy? Do you think that she is suffering from some sort of cognitive disability? Because I really think she's legitimately stupid. Or what do you think? I know you're nicer than I am, but I really think she's dumb for real. But what do you think about her?
Here's the thing. She doesn't surprise me because I would say her demeanor, her attitude, and the way that she conveys herself is probably a representation of like 85% of Black women. So I don't really see any, I don't see anything that's different from her than a lot of other sisters who, try and involve themselves in these conversations. Very dismissive, won't let you finish a sentence, cuts you off. When you make a good point and when you, back them into a corner, an ideological corner, they double down. They don't admit that they're wrong. And that's pretty much a good representation of what most Black women, especially in her age demographic, will do. She oftentimes like uses a lot of red herrings in her arguments, appeal to authority fallacy, where she's like, oh, I've been on Fox News too. So you can be on Fox News, but that doesn't change the fact that you're wrong.
Yeah. Let me ask you this real quick. Are they capable? And you laid it down pretty good, but are they capable of talking about anything other than race? Like for example, can they talk if for example Larry Elder were to bring up, let's say, the ongoing conflict in Palestine, or if he were to bring up the coup that took place in Niger, would they be able to talk about that to some sort of proficient degree? What do you think?
Well, I think they're just gonna go back to their fallback and say, okay, well, this is happening because of white supremacy and systematic oppression, and so I don't think that they understand the intricate details of what's going on in Niger, or however you pronounce it, or they're not really going to be able to get into the details. They're just gonna blame white people again.
Why do you think whites are always blamed for everything amongst these types of Negroes?
Well, white people are the de facto scapegoat in America nowadays. They are the bane of, American politics from Black people's perspective. So any issue that, arises is going to be blamed on white people, and they're always going to be able to, or they're going to want to take it back to, okay, well, this happened because the system, like, this man robbed the store, and all these mass lootings are happening because of white people and white supremacy and all this stuff. And they want to absolve, Black people of individual responsibility, so that they don't really have to, come to grips with, okay, we have a massive issue in the Black community. And then Larry Elder, he goes on to say that one of the biggest issues is our fatherless homes. And then Charlemagne ends up agreeing with him. But then, the cackling hyena, she ends up saying, oh, well, the reason why there's fatherless homes is because of white supremacy and, the welfare state. They went door to door. And Larry Elder says, hey, they went door to door and they were incentivizing women to get rid of the man in the home in exchange for daddy government. And she goes and says, well, who were the people who did that? It was the white people who did that. Lyndon Baines Johnson, whatnot. So she's always going to, use white person as a scapegoat, when in all actuality, if the Black women were so strong, independent, and intelligent as they claim to be, then if somebody came to your door and say, hey, get rid of the man and I'll give you a check for $750 a month, and you're strong and independent and you can do bad all by yourself, you're going to deny that, especially if it's coming from a white person. But notice how, everything is a white person's fault, but when the white man starts giving out handouts, i.e. Stimulus funds, PPP loans, all this kind of stuff, then you're taking it with, welfare, you're taking it, EBT, you're taking it all, and you're not saying, oh, well, the white man holding his back, you're taking whatever dispersions the white man is divvying out.
Real quick, you're younger than me, but I'm pretty sure you've experienced this. I know this is a continued cycle. You say you love the country, you're doing well, your life is awesome, and along comes a Negro that says, you gonna get your Negro wake-up call. Where does this come from, Black Gen Z? Where does this come from? It's almost like they're wishing bad, and it's always a black. They're wishing bad upon you. Why does this happen? This happens particularly with Larry Elder, with Charlemagne. Why does this happen?
Because they want to prove themselves right. Right. So they want to wish harm on you. And I mean, it's basically what happens on my channel as well. You know, I cover inner city crimes and whatnot on the Black Gen Z Mindset. So they essentially want to make it seem like, you know, if you keep pointing out the issues in the Black community, a white man's going to stick it to you one day, you know, and that's just not the case. So they want to lead by fear, and that's what they've been doing, especially with the Black Lives Matter riots. It's leading by fear. You know, you see Maxine Waters saying, "Hey, we're going to tear this thing down." All these different things, they want to lead by fear. So if you're not afraid of the white man, if you're not afraid to say, "Hey, I'm going to take a chance on myself because in this country, I believe I have freedom and I don't believe anything's stopping for me." If you have that line of thinking, they want to say, "Oh, well, you'll learn one day." Whereas I could easily go to the Black community and you know, get a Negro wake up call from another Negro. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I done been held at gunpoint. I'm in Atlanta a couple weeks ago. Some dude broke into my truck. So, you know, hell, I done got the Negro wake up call.
Black though? Did you know the dude was black and broke into your truck?
Yeah. The apartment complex I live in has the footage. Okay. Yeah. So I seen his ass scurrying in the truck and whatnot. But anyways. You know, it's like, okay, you're going to get your Negro wake up call, but you're not going to get the Negro wake up call from a white person. You're going to get it from another Black person.
I have 777 in the back, and I want to ask you one more question. I'm going to drop you down too for a minute if you want to come back for the bigger panel. The Negro, you know, I'm the Negro whisperer, Black Gen Z. I've noticed this all my life, almost 40 years old. The Negro invented everything, invented air, invented the universe. But for some reason, conveniently, the Negro didn't invent the system. That's what that mammy Teslin was saying. She was saying, "We didn't make the system. We didn't make that." So why conveniently do we have selective invention conversation points? Because we invent everything, right? Leave it up to Blacks, we invented everything. But then when it says, "Oh, well, the police and this and the other," well, we didn't create the police. We didn't create that. We didn't create all this. We didn't create the politics in the cities. Why do you think she was saying that? Or why do you think Black people use that "we invented everything" trope, and then conveniently we didn't make everything? But go ahead.
Right. It's because she's ignorant, and like the current system that we have now, we actually did create it, and it's failing. Right. We're the ones who are pushing these liberal ideologies. We're the one who are pushing the bail reform, the defund the police. All these different things were pushed by us. OK, and it's failing because, you know, unfortunately, the Black people who are propped up and put in power and put in position only care about, gaining personal financial gain or political power for themselves and not really for the Black community. So that's what's really happening right now.
Okay. Guys, please go and subscribe to Black Gen Z. I'm only going to bring people up one at a time today. A few people in the back. Black Gen Z, if you want to come back for the bigger panel, you can. Please feel free to do so. Thank you so much, man.
Peace.
Guys, that was Black Gen Z. Guys, please go over to Black Gen Z and subscribe. The guy is an excellent content creator. We got 777 in the building. What's up, 777?
Hey, Black Power, my brother. How you doing?
I have no idea what you're talking about, sir.
Allah Akbar, guys, the greatest. What's going on? You know what he was saying.
Turn your mic up.
Oh, you want me to turn my mic up?
Hey, turn up. You have a tab open or something.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Is that better?
It's a lot better. Go ahead.
I apologize. As a Black man in America, I apologize.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to say is this. One, he was extremely boring, but thank you for pulling up on the show. I'm sure
Let's
some
be
people,
respectful, sir. Let's be respectful.
I'm sure some people like what he had to say, but I didn't.
Okay, let's get to
Anyways, and let's make America straight again. How about that? Put that hat on.
The topic, man. Go ahead.
What I'd like to say is this. First of all, we're all cowards out here. With this whole liberal, conservative, it doesn't really matter because nobody's going to say anything to anybody. You're never going to get you're never going to go to these people that are really calling the shots and say, hey, I'm sick and tired of this stuff on my TV screen. Mm-hmm. How do you think I feel when I see two men kissing on a commercial?
How do you feel?
You know how I feel? I feel like I want to smash my TV. I feel like I want to go and stop paying my cable bill. Okay? Why is it okay in America that this happens? Two men eating popcorn, sitting on a couch together. Why? Well, who let that happen? I'll tell you what. People like Black Gen, salute to him. I'm sure he's got a great channel. No. You just let me rock. All right. Let me.
Juan with the $5 super chat. Guys, if you want your comments read, please hit the super chat. It's a lot of people in the comment section. And again, guys, please go over to the Black Gen Z Mindset. He's a great content creator. And also go over to Black Conservative Perspective. I'm going to bring back up 777 in a minute, guys. Give me 1 second. Juan, what's up, man? With the $5 super chat says, hey, it's CT's clown jester. Whistle got blown. Let me the Mexican thing. Okay. Thank you so much, Juan. Go ahead, 777.
Hey, Juan. Yeah, I need some drywall done. So after you hop over the Mexican border wall, since you're probably not in this country, why don't you come pull my weeds out of my garden?
He's a naturalized citizen.
Yeah, come pull my weeds out of my garden for $7 an hour. I'll throw you a taco, make you feel like you're back at home.
Get to the conversation, man. What were you talking about with the whole thing about
So I see these people say this and that, and shout out to Larry Elder. I see these people say everything. We're always on the panels and channels and YouTube and in the streets, but you know what? We don't really say anything to anybody in power. The only person that did was Kanye West. He got on a huge platform. And said the truth about what's really going on. And what happened to him? Next thing you know, his bank accounts are froze. He doesn't make any money. His music is trash. He's never going to be selling sneakers ever again. Nothing. So if you really say something, see, we can only come on here and whisper stuff. Hey, yeah, it's not okay with what's going on. But you people are mostly scared to say anything in reality. Yeah. We'll come up here and complain about the liberals and conservatives and the queer agendas and stuff like that in schools. And you got men going in women's bathrooms. But you know what? You're probably too scared to say anything to that man dressed up as a woman coming into your bathroom. So you'll sit there like a regular American, mind your business, and walk in the other room and not say nothing. Or you'll get up here and complain about it and say, yeah, man, I'm really sick and tired of what's going on with these conservatives and liberals and whatever else weird stuff you got going on. But you know what? You won't say anything. And you know what? And she keeps coming for me in the chat, sir. You better get that little dog-faced rat bitch, because I've had enough of her. Nina, mind your business, you dyke. You butch.
Can we be respectful, sir? Now I have no idea what you're talking about. But go ahead.
Hey, Black Jen. So a lot of people, we have, you feel free to make a podcast and talk your stuff and whatever. Everybody hits the like and subscribes. But you know what? You're not doing anything. You're not really saying anything. You're not changing the world. If you were changing the world, get out there. Get out of your bedroom and go out there and into the world and do something. But if you do, a white cop will probably kill you. Because somebody will say, hey, there's a black man out here screaming how he wants change. And the last time a black man screamed for change, they killed him at the podium.
I think that's
and the last time a white man, hang on, Black Jen, you'll have your time. You just had your time. And the last time a white man said something about changing the country, he got about 500 indictments. And you're wearing his hat. The last time a white man tried to change this country, look what happened to him. You don't see the bigger picture. They don't let you, they don't want you to communicate. They don't want you to talk. You can only tell so much of the truth. You can't tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. You can tell a little bit of the truth. They'll let you whisper the truth. You can never, ever, ever yell the truth. Because if you do, you get shut down, blackballed, indictments. You get killed. You get offed. You get deleted. You can't even say killed on here. You're so scared. You got to say deleted now. They got you so scared, running. You're in the fields, scared. The mess is always there. He's always coming. He's always running at you. What do? We just sit there and work quietly, pay our taxes. Here you go, boss. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't totally agree. The main way that information is disseminated nowadays is through the internet. So if somebody has the balls to speak up on the internet, just like you mentioned, Kanye, he got on a platform, an internet-based platform, and spoke up. That's pretty much, one of the things that you can do. I'm not saying that's all that you can do, but that's one of the things that you can do. So I don't think that that's really an issue. People are trying to get the message out. The issue is, the censorship, right? Censoring people who are actually bringing a truthful message, and censoring people you disagree with. That's the main issue. And I think that, with Elon Musk buying X, that's something that kind of helped with that, but it's not all going to happen at one time. You see what I'm saying? So it's
yeah, I hear you.
I mean, it's
one
a concerted effort between all of us, but go ahead.
I'm sorry, I can't do this. One more thing. It's never going to change, sir. So the change that you want to see is the change that Obama thought he can, rise up the political realm and say, hey, we need a change. And here I am, the strong black man. But look what they did to him. Look what the powers that be did to him. Now it's coming out that he likes booty. He's Fleece Johnson at the podium now. Now he likes booty. He has dreams of having sex with men. Look what they did to him. You can't say anything. And why would they do that? You ever think why that's in the algorithm? Why is Barack Obama eating glizzies for breakfast now? You ever wonder why they did that to him? You know why? Because you got this Indian trying to run for president. It'll never happen. I told CT that the other day. And when you guys talk about all this change, no one's really changing anything. You're gonna change what you're wearing in the morning, take yourself to work, pay the white man's taxes, and you're gonna go home and be pissed about working. That's what America is, and it's never changed. So anybody that wants to change the way that this is how it works. You go home and complain, and you wake up and you go to work and you shut up. Because you don't tell your boss, hey, I don't like the way I'm being treated, because you're scared to lose your paycheck.
Well, I think your mindset is highly pessimistic. And
it is, because I'm a realist, sir.
Okay. And see, that mindset is the reason why no change is going to happen. If everybody adopted your mindset, then yeah, of course, we're not going to see any change because nobody thinks that they can make change in the world. But if people have more of an optimistic mindset and get on the same page, then you will see change. And we are seeing change, and we are seeing different candidates. And I know you said it's a long shot for Vivek Ramaswamy.
You're seeing change.
I agree. Hold on. I agree. But at the same time, you see a candidate who is getting a lot of support. And I mean, he's like runner up in as a GOP candidate, and he's beating other establishment candidates. So that is something that we have not seen. Right?
Are you not in touch with reality? Because you think that the Indian man is going to run the white man's land, sir?
I never said that he's going to win. I'm saying it's a change in pace to see him doing as well as he's doing in the polls.
Sir, he won't see 3% of the votes. He hasn't done or changed or said anything. He hasn't stuck up for anyone. Has he stuck up for you, sir? What has he done for you? He
stuck up for the American people.
What type of lunatic votes for a guy that actually did and says nothing for this country? That's what's crazy about America. That's why you guys voted Biden, and you should take that hat off, because you're probably voted for Biden. And now that you see how bad the country is,
what the hell?
Now that you see how bad the country is, now it's, oh man, I hope Trump comes back and wins.
All you guys that voted for Biden, don't know anything about.
I let you finish. I let you
finish. You cut me.
You don't have any respect. That's your problem. You don't have any respect.
You don't have respect. You're the one who came on the panel and started.
And that's why people like you vote for Biden. People like you are cowards and are scared.
You obviously don't watch.
You don't really want change. You talk a good talk, but you don't walk the walk, sir.
I actually do walk the walk. You obviously don't know anything about me.
I know you're saying, yeah, okay, go ahead, sir. It's not about you. Stop making this about you. Okay?
I never said it was about me. You made it about me by sending a
This is about the country, sir. This is about the country. You voted for Biden.
No, I actually didn't vote for Biden.
Who'd you vote for? You voted for Trump? Oh, how'd you feel now that he has all these indictments?
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
I feel like it's a hit job. I feel like it's a political persecution.
And who do they want to win? Because Biden won't win.
They want Biden or the Democrats to stay in power. We don't know who they're putting up there to run, but it's looking like possibly a Newsom and Michelle Obama ticket or something like that. You know, they're gonna mix it up. I think they're gonna try and shuffle the board. But I'm hearing that Biden doesn't want to leave, and he's going to run again, and he's not going to be pushed out. So, you know, like I said,
Michelle Obama. You said? Did you just say Michelle Obama?
I said they're looking at a Gavin Newsom, Michelle Obama ticket. So Gavin Newsom as a president, Michelle Obama as a vice president. That's what I'm hearing through the pipeline.
Yeah.
Let me read the super chat real quick, 777. Give me a second, all right? Savage with the $5 super chat says, Biden is the best thing that's happened to this country since taking the Indians' land. Abdul with the $2 super chat says, change the laws in your mind first. Go ahead, 777.
Inflation has been the worst that it's ever been in 40 years. Let me tell you whose fault that is. That's the Democrats' fault, okay? The stimulus package created inflation. Inflation comes and goes. So right now with it going down, it's going to peak. It's going to go back up. That's why interest rates are at 6-7%. People don't understand the economy. That's why you'll vote for anybody. You'll vote for anybody that says, hey, a change is going to come. That's why you voted gay Obama in. Because he's bamboozled everybody. Yeah, he's gay, chaotic. Yeah.
Wait a minute, are you talking who voted Obama in? You're not talking about like he wasn't even
I could guarantee.
I was in 8th grade when Obama was elected.
I could guarantee. I'm not talking about you. The show is not about you, sir. You're clout chasing off CT. That's all you're doing, Rick.
Bro, me and CT have the same amount. We have the same amount of subs. What the?
777, you sound stupid.
What are you talking about, bro?
Content creator who has just as much. Yeah.
You're clout chasing. That's all.
How am I clout chasing? Me and CT are.
Because you never come up for regular topics, but you come up for this weird topic.
I've come up before. Like I said, you don't know anything about me or watch the channel.
777, can you just broach the topic, please, sir, man, instead of throwing out insults for some stupid reason?
I'm not insulting them. It's just, you know, it's typical. You know, it's typical. The numbers go up, all of a sudden, Black Jen comes over.
No, I mean, I've been in the back chat for the longest, but the thing is, like, you're talking about change, but you're not even.
Hey, suck my dick, Mary, you old white bitch. Fuck you.
777, that's your first warning, dude. Just get to the 777. Just broach the topic. Don't talk about anybody in the chat. Go ahead.
Right, but it's
you're absolutely right.
Go ahead, Black Jen.
You're talking about change, but you don't have the courage to show your own face, and then you're talking behind, you know, a little. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, so if you want change, then you need to, you know, put your money where your mouth is, let people know who you are, and maybe you'll have some more credibility. But you just talking about behind, like, you know, a painting, it's like you have no merit.
It's actually St. Michael you. Maybe if you...
777, can we just broach the topic, man? I don't have time for this, 777. Just broach the topic, man. Let's have an intelligent conversation.
Yeah, okay. So this queer...
Sir, can we have an intelligent conversation where you're not insulting individuals, sir? Can we talk about the interview on the Breakfast Club with Larry Elder? Can we just keep it at that? Go ahead.
Okay, so Mary, shove your...
777. Listen. Wait a minute. Oh, Mary got him up out of here. Mary says, 777 off. He is the white version of Charlemagne. 777, I gotta get you up out of here, okay, bro? Have a good one. Peace. You're out of here. Step off. Yeah, 777 is a scumbag. He's not really good for these kinds of topics. But go ahead though, Black Gen Z. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, you know, 777. He was, and I don't want to talk about him when he's not here and he can't defend himself.
No, you can talk about him. You're fine. Trust.
I'm just going to address his points. I'm not going to address him personally because that's not what I do. Yeah. what I will say though is he spoke about change. He spoke about nothing's ever going to happen. And like I said, if you have that pessimistic mindset, if you have that idea that nothing's going to happen, then nothing will happen. It's just like in business. If you say, hey, I'm starting a business and 95% of businesses fail within the first 5 years, so I might as well not start a business, then of course you're not going to make any money. So, you know, people with that mindset who, for one, can't acknowledge one's accomplishments. Like if you look at Vivek Ramaswamy, he's extremely accomplished. He's a businessman. Yep. He's damn near a billionaire, if not highly a billionaire.
Yeah.
So he's highly educated. He's got a family. He's done everything, as far as we know, the right way. He's young. He's got an energetic spirit, and he has a voice that can connect with the older generation, the younger generation. I'm not pushing him as a candidate. At the end of the day, I want Trump to be the GOP candidate. I want to vote for Trump again. However, if you're looking at Vivek Ramaswamy and you see that he is a legitimate option for the candidate of GOP, and you don't think that that's a significant change, then you got to be out of your mind, or you just don't follow politics. Because the platform that Ramaswamy is running on shows that he has an idea of a diverse or a breadth of topics that pertain to the issues that we're facing right now as a country. And he's willing to get on stage and debate those topics and flesh out his ideas, whereas other candidates like Ron DeSantis are not. And he's been avoiding press and all this kind of stuff. So if we don't at least acknowledge that and say, hey, man, this guy, he's not afraid to stand up to people. He's not afraid to get on the stage and debate his ideas. Then we don't acknowledge that, then we might be the issue, okay? Because that is a change, and he's going to inspire somebody else to do the same thing, okay? Like Tupac said, and I'm not the biggest fan of Tupac, but he said, I may not change the world, but I'm going to inspire somebody who does. So if you don't at least give the people who are inspiring other people to change the world credit, then, we are lost. And I don't think that most people think like 777. I genuinely don't. I think that people have hope. I think that people, believe in this country. I think they love this country. And I think they genuinely want to make America great again. Some of them may have a displaced idea of what that means to make America great again. But I do think that people do have hope for this country and think that we can, reverse our tracks and, turn to a more nationalist and productive, platform. So that's my take on it.
Let me read these super chats real quick, and great points. Okay. Savage says interest rates should be 25%. Once again, Mary, thank you so much for that $50 super chat. I really appreciate that. Savage with the $5 super chat says we need to increase taxes to 80% for everyone and interest rates to 25%. Oh my God, Savage. Abdul says 777 is an old bitter auntie. So you're okay. So you're saying that the fact that these individuals have gone on the Breakfast Club shows that they are willing to pretty much battle it out, and you're saying that's what gives Larry Elder or Vivek more credence or than DeSantis. Okay, I got you.
Yeah. They're willing to have the conversation, and Democrats are not willing to have these conversations. That's the thing. They always avoid having these conversations, debates about anything. You could bring up any topic, and they're hesitant to even come to the table and have these conversations. So at least the guys getting there and having the conversation, and that's, as far as, we can't do anything crazy or drastic, but we can have these conversations, and hopefully these conversations will persuade voters to make the right decision. And that's the best that we can hope for, is you give the information to the people, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. They take that truth and then they vote. Okay. So we need to acknowledge that, hey, this guy's bringing the information. He's bringing the truth. He's bringing these topics. So we need to say, hey, okay, if I agree with that, then that's something that I'd be willing to vote on.
The freshman with the 20 pounds, thank you so much. And I think the pound is worth more than the dollar, so thank you so much again. Says, get rid of 777. This is $25 pound sterling exchange, adding to Mary's efforts. Also, people don't want 777 up today. Normally people want 777 up. Tracy with the $2 super chat says, CT, you hit gold with Black Gen Z. He gives me hope. Ice Baby with the $20 super chat says, add this also with Mary's. Oh, wow. Let me see here. Did you see the interview years ago with Dame Dash on The Breakfast Club?
I did.
You did?
Yes.
So tell me what you thought about that one.
So I thought it was very interesting. I think I was a sophomore in college when that interview dropped. It was like 2014, 2015, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Could have been 2016. But anyways, you know, he was talking about being your own boss and, you know, some things Dame Dash he's a little hyperbolic about. But I think that, you know, he made some good points. And overall, it obviously was a viral moment that still, you know, finds its way in different memes on the internet to this day. So I think ultimately it was a net positive.
Savage with the $5 super chat says, let's really get some oppression. Let's make taxes 100%. Damn, Savage. We won't be able to do anything. No loopholes, and the government can make everything free for the pro-blacks. I'm going to play some of the video. Feel free to also do some commentary if you can, Black Gen Z.
Okay.
Let's see something. Let's play some more of Black conservative perspectives video and his key points.
Freddie Gray a few years ago.
No. That's mayors. Let's not go there with that. I said, what system have we created?
Goodness.
Have we implemented that we have been in charge of? Name one.
Jesus Christ. Black Gen Z, is she the reason why you don't date Black women?
Okay, so for the record, I would date a Black woman, but my preference is like more earthy, I guess hippie type Black women because they have more of a soft demeanor. But yeah, I mean, this attitude, like the way that she's conveying herself, the way that she communicates is highly disrespectful, in my opinion. You know, I wouldn't put up with it. And I hope that she doesn't have a husband who has to put up with that every day. I doubt that she does. But you know, this attitude, this mindset, and her communication is the reason why a lot of brothers are getting their passports. A lot of brothers are SYSBM, MGTO dub, whatever you want to call it. A lot of guys are walking away because of this attitude. Like you can't, and they be the main ones talking about communicate. But when you're rude and disrespectful and condescending to a person, then how do you think they're going to receive that? So when I was in college, I took COM 1000, I took COM 2000. It was a requirement for my undergraduate degree.
That's communication for people in the chat who don't know what it's communication.
Exactly. And we talked about verbal and non-verbal cues. Well, look at her non-verbal cues. Even when she's talking, I don't have to hear a word that's coming out of her mouth. I know what she's saying with her non-verbal cues because she's waving the head and doing the finger wag and all this kind of stuff. And it's disrespectful. And a lot of this energy would not be present if she was in the present. So if she was physically there, I guarantee she wouldn't have all this hostility and heat for her guest, who, again, need I remind you, is a guest and should be treated as such. Whether you disagree with their political beliefs or not, they still are a guest and should be treated as such. I mean, I remember when, you know, my mom would say, hey, you know, the guest eats first, the guest does this first. So you need to treat a person with respect as if they are a guest in your home and you are trying to give them a pleasant experience. Whether you agree with their talking points or not, you can come to a civil disagreement and still treat somebody with respect. She does not possess that within her being. And this is why a lot of brothers are saying no to these sisters, especially the older generation. Now, the younger generation is potentially malleable, but there are some issues with the young generation. But I won't.
Guys, Black Gen Z is nicer than I am. He calls her a black sister. I call her a mammy. I just want to keep that. What's up, Japrice? How you doing? Let me read the super chat real quick. Mr. Speak on It with the $5 super chat says Vivek is just gonna open the floodgates for Indian immigrants. He's a George Soros plant bought and paid for. I had no idea that he was a. I have to look that up. Are you aware of this? Is he funded?
Yeah. So there are rumors. Yeah. So Vivek Ramaswamy, for one, a lot of people are saying George Soros plant. I can't confirm nor deny that, and he's addressed it before, and I believe that he has denied being, influence peddling for George Soros or whatnot. And the reason why I don't give him flack for potential ties to Soros is because when you're in school and you're pursuing higher education, a lot of the scholarships that are going to be presented to you might come from a foundation that you may not know who the owner of that foundation is, or a nonprofit who's giving out scholarships, and you may not know who that person is, but they paid for your education, and you might be grateful for that. But that doesn't mean that you're tied to them and you have to do their bidding. So I think a lot of people are jumping out of the window with that. A lot of it is speculation. None of it has been particularly proven that he's taking direct funds from Soros. He did work in the medical industry. He worked and his business is in the pharmaceutical industry. So, he has a lot of knowledge about pharmaceuticals and the business side of pharmaceuticals. And I think that actually works in his benefit because, it kind of gives you an idea of maybe how he would have handled the pandemic, right? Because he understands how pharmaceutical companies look to gain a profit from, vaccines and other medications that might be presented as, cures or at least, things to subside symptoms. So
good point.
Yeah.
Japrice.
Hi, good morning.
Wait a minute. Let me read the super chat real quick. Casey with the $2 super chat says 777 made you a quick 100. Pin his link, CT. Hey guys, don't tell me what to do. All right. I told him to drop his link. I'll do it. All right. Here, I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna pin it. But don't tell me what to do. 777. He's still a scumbag. Here, let me pin this. Let me pin it. Okay, there we go. All right, just finished. Japrice, did you see the interview on The Breakfast Club yesterday with Larry Elder?
Yeah, I saw bits and pieces of it. I didn't sit down and watch all of it. Yeah, I saw bits and pieces of it.
And tell us what you think about what your bits and pieces were, or what you thought of the bits and pieces.
I think that the Breakfast Club hosts, they were very rude to Larry Elder. They seem to be rude to people who don't, think like them, but they're also for Black people. But when Black people think differently from them, they treat them very wrong. And you can tell that it really bothered me when Larry Elder asked him a question about, I forgot exactly, but Charlemagne said, I don't let that bother. When Larry Elder asked Charlemagne
about the Joe Biden.
Why did he, and he said, I don't let that bother me. It's like, I'm not gonna let you bother or let your words. Like, what do you, that's what they all they're just, I don't know, they're just so nasty. And it's like, what does that even mean? He didn't ask you about if he's bothering you or if Joe Biden bothered you. He just asked you, how did you feel when he said that? It seems that whatever the liberals or whatever the left says doesn't bother them. But obviously what Larry Elder was saying did bother you because of how you reacted and what you were saying and how you guys' attitude was towards Larry Elder. And the Black lady, she was very nasty, rolling her neck. It was just it's just repetitive, and then they were just being very nasty to him.
Yeah. And I do want to address that point as well, because when we talk about what Joe Biden said about if you are debating if you going to vote for me or Trump, then you ain't Black. I think Black people should take that as a huge insult, not only to our political leanings, but to our intelligence as well, because that is assuming that you can't make a decision for yourself. You can't decide which candidate best reflects your values. And if you do end up deciding the quote unquote wrong candidate, then a white man who, stands to gain off of your fall as a race, is taking away your black card. So the fact that we have given Joe Biden the at least verbal authority to take away anybody's black card, let alone Charlemagne the God, if he's debating who he's going to vote for, then I think that black people should take that as a huge insult, because who made him the arbitrator of black cards?
Japrice, hold on for a second. Mo, is that you?
Yeah, what's up?
All right, give me a second. Japrice, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah, sure, CT.
You guys are really nice. You guys are very professional today. I'm not going to be professional. I'm going to call it like I see it. She's a mammy. Do you think that she's a mammy? Do you think that this is the decade of the mammy? Japrice?
Yes. I don't know exactly what mammy means, but I want to guess it's. I don't know exactly what that means.
Well, you're too young to know, Japrice. A mammy is the stereotypical fat black woman. And particularly, you would see this kind of woman in the early 1900s in film and media. Child, get your ass in here. You get your white, but it's like these loud, black, obnoxious women. It's a caricature. But I think that we have a lot of these caricatures have manifested into the physical realm. Just like I played Kamala. He's the president. Like all of this mammy behavior. Do you think that the black man has allowed these mammies to just run amok? Because if I was little Larry Elder, I would have told her, you need to shut your mammy ass up. What do you think? Go ahead.
Yeah, he definitely, all of them, whether they, the men in there should have said, okay, you need to bring it down a little bit. She's the way black women behave as if like they're going to, like they think they're just so tough that they could just like talk to you anyhow and say anything. Act like her attitude was very disgusting, and all of those men should have said, "Wait a minute, bring it down a notch, because you're doing too much." So obnoxious, absolutely. Most of these black women these days are very obnoxious.
What did you think about her saying that that black people don't run any systems? I kind of thought she was stupid, because black people clearly run political systems, economic systems. But what did you think about her saying that to Larry Elder? Go ahead.
She's wrong, because most of the southern states have like black council members. They have like black, I don't even know, what do you call it, governors. A lot of the southern states have black people running in office. So how like why would she say that? That's how you know. See, like people think that you could tell that these people are only in their inner cities. They think that America is California, New York, which is not. That's not the bed of America. And they just think that their perspective is only from these cities, and they only stay in a 2.5 radius of where they live. They don't go outside, and they don't actually see actual America. And you will see the southern states have black people that are running in office. You see the black people on the bus stops with their suits on, like on the picture, on the little bus stops and little signs. I don't understand.
Yeah, and there, like I said earlier, we're overrepresented. If you look at our population per capita, the thing is, it's not just the South. It's not just the South. I forgot the woman's name, but it's not just the South that has black representation. All of these liberal cities, you can go one by one. They have black representation. DC, damn near the whole police force is black. In New York, they have a black female police chief. They got a black mayor. Like, we have the representation. The issue is when these people get in power, they are dropping the ball and they are forgetting about the community, and they're lining their own pockets. And that's what's really going on, because when we get a black person elected, they're not doing anything. They're only making the issue worse. Like, look at Brandon Johnson in Chicago. He won't even address the mass mobbings and lootings. He's calling them large gatherings and trying to softball it. And he's saying, don't demonize the kids. Well, I'm going to tell you what, these kids are super gremlins on demon time. and they need to be prosecuted. They need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law if they are, committing these crimes. They're completely destroying these cities. It's happening in every major city. When you look at New Orleans, Atlanta, the Water Boys in Milwaukee, Detroit, St. Louis. St. Louis has a black mayor, a black female mayor. So you can go on and on. We've got plenty of representation. And Larry Elder knows this, and he probably, maybe had a brain fart because the woman was coming at him so hard. But there's no way you can claim we don't have representation.
Yeah.
In every major Democratic city, we have a large representation. We're overrepresented. And these people who get in power are not fit to lead. They're just not. And, they're moving off of race politics and identity politics and gender politics, and they're addressing everything except the issues that we have at hand in the Black community, which is the single greatest issue, is the crime, the violence. That's the biggest issue. If we could solve that, if we could just get rid of that, then, I wouldn't have anything to complain about. I wouldn't have a channel if we could get rid of the crime, but we're enabling it.
But what was fascinating about, I'm going to say Teslin, I'm not going to keep calling her a mammy, but Teslin, when she said that blacks, period. And I thought, is she not aware of Africa, the Black Islands? Is she not aware that black people literally run entire countries? Caprice, is she not aware of that? I mean, let's go outside of America. Is Teslin, I'm going to be respectful. Is she not aware of that, Caprice?
She's more than likely not. That's why I said they only think as far as the 2.5 radius of where they live. Like, it's not, and then most of them live in cities. Most black people live in cities, so it's like they're just ignorant to a lot of things.
Would you ever hang out with her?
Never.
Really? Why not?
Why would I hang out with her? We don't act like we have nothing in common.
Mo, what's up, man? Mo, what say you about the interview?
I thought the interview was very, very well done by Larry Elder. He really dropped the bombs on these people. The one thing that I took away from the interview, and this was after him and Charlemagne went at it with the N-word wake-up call, was Charlemagne went with saying that I went with the party that would protect democracy. It's like, dog, what has democracy got to do with the way of living? What does democracy have to do with gas prices? What does democracy have to do with housing prices, interest rates? For me, and this is just my honest opinion, black liberals, and this you see this in Chicago, you see this everywhere in these big liberal cities, black liberals have a tendency to vote for their own demise.
Yes,
and they don't even know it.
Yes, and I made a point to emphasize that with the whole sanctuary cities. You got the blacks there crying, oh, these illegals, what we's gonna do? I'm like, you dumb Negroes, you voted for it.
And not only that, Brandon Johnson.
You voted for it. You voted for the mayor who implemented this policy. You voted for it.
Begged for it.
And Brandon Johnson actually told you what he was all about, and now you're trying to use all these schools that you want to use for the kids and stuff like that. Now they're going to use it for these illegal immigrants. Yep. Oh, you can't use the schools for anything else. But now with the immigrants coming, oh, we can use them now. Because what they're obviously going to do is phase out the black vote, make these immigrants legal to vote.
Yes.
And then the black vote will no longer matter to them. They will just cater to the immigrants. And you know what?
Real quick, let me read these super chats real quick. They're coming in. Big Knox with the $5 super chat says single mothers and their kids are ruining almost every black area in the country. That I agree with. Now, I don't agree with the blacks destroying cities because I just don't believe that blacks have the capability of destroying infrastructure. But that's neither here nor there. That's what I just believe. That's the real issue in the community. I got one more super chat to read. Give me 1 second, Mo. And Chris with the $5 super chat says, why is it always black millionaires telling the rest of us what we can't do? them black Democrat senators as well? Ooh, that's a good question. Go ahead, Mo. You want to answer this question and continue? Go ahead.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Medgar Evers, and it's a very tranquil scene compared to just a couple hours ago where a drive-by shooting just took place. Excuse me, I'm getting live updates as we speak. I've just been updated to the amount of casualties from this drive-by shooting, and I'm getting reports that 2 people were actually declared deceased and 27 others were shot and injured, but are in stable condition. And although we must pray for the families of the fallen, we must also praise God for the aim of the super gremlin. If you want to know more about the victims of this crime, make sure you add BGZM News 17 on Patreon at www.patreon.com/blackgenzmindset. Also, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment on the video to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this sun violence in the streets. For more hard-hitting news coverage from the community, by the community, I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And cut.
All right, dog. Let's get the out of here before these niggas come back.
Whoa. Yo! Ain't that nigga J?
Nah, that ain't me. That ain't me.
He just went live
That
with
ain't
that
me.
funky ass suit
That's
on.
that nigga. That's not me.
Hey, get that nigga.
Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Pray for me.
And I'm going to leave it at this point, and I will digress, and then I'll put it to the next person. We're all, I see these liberals talking about Uncle Tom's, the C word, sellouts and stuff like that. Where are the same people talking about that when it comes to Brandon Johnson? He's not looking out for black people.
Yeah.
But yet he's not being called a sellout or anything like that. But I'm going to just leave it at that. I digress. Thank you for letting me speak. And we'll go to the next person.
Mo, before you go, Mo, I don't know if you're married or not, but would you ever take Teslin out on a date? Keep it real.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. Because
She's not, even though she's batshit crazy, she's not that bad looking. You mean tell me never? Okay, I got you.
No. I mean, trust me, I dated Dominicans that are just as crazy as her. Them Dominican chicks are crazy too.
Yeah, I don't.
Like, man, I can't stand them. But I'm gonna mute up.
Is she Dominican or is she? What is she?
I don't think she is.
Okay, but you're just saying that. Okay, I got you. Let me answer this to Chris to the best of my ability. So Chris again says, why is it always black millionaires telling the rest of us what we can't do? Then black Dems or then black Democratic senators as well. In my opinion, Chris, it's just like with the whole, not Mar-a-Lago, but with the whole Martha's Vineyard situation. These people will gaslight and pretend that they are for the cause. But as soon as you bring these people to you, they start panicking. So for example, let's be honest, you're using black millionaires, and I'm assuming you're talking about entertainers. Listen, Jay-Z, all of these black millionaires that are rich, they don't want these poor Negroes to live around them. But they talk a good game. LeBron doesn't want LeBron doesn't want 99% of black people living around him. That's why he lives around white folk.
Yeah.
He don't want to live around these people.
LeBron won't even educate the kids in his school.
Mm-hmm. So what he does is he keeps they say things. They'll say things to gaslight you and keep you in a confused state. And they'll tell you you're downtrodden, you're oppressed, and you got to fight the system. They'll never tell you to build for self and do for self, and you're capable of this, that, and the other. Why would they? They don't want you to ever live around them. You think white people don't want you to live around them? No, LeBron doesn't want you to live around them. That's what I think. But go ahead, guys. What do you got to say to Chris's super chat?
Yeah, I just want to address that point. He's right. Okay, a lot of these black millionaires have pulled the black community out. And a lot of our millionaires, not all of them, but a lot of our millionaires, at least represented in the media, are entertainers. And they're definitely selling the black people out by, perpetuating the violence in the music and whatnot. And that's, like I said, the biggest issue. I did a story just yesterday about, this 16-year-old boy was murdered in Chicago. And guess what happened? The ops pulled up to his funeral and shot the funeral home up. Okay. So these things, these stories are not addressed in the mass media. They're not addressed by a lot of people. It's only a small segment on YouTube who are covering these murders and these crimes that are going on in the Black community. And I'm telling you right now, it's worse than you ever could have imagined. At this point in 2023, when we should be more advanced than our ancestors, we have all the opportunity in the world. You can start a online business where nobody even knows if you're Black, white, yellow, or anything. Okay. However, we're in the worst state that we ever could have been in. We're killing each other at 100 miles per hour. And unless we address this issue, there ain't going to be no Black community to save.
Yeah. Big Time. Let me read this real quick. Big Time says infrastructure is destroyed when stores close down. Giant in Ward 8 DC, Wawa in Philly, and Walmart in Inglewood, Chicago. DAs or district attorneys are not punishing crime equal more. Again, I disagree with this. I wholeheartedly had a conversation the other day about this. Again, yes, stores closing down, it causes a little bit of blight. It causes a little bit of food deserts and store deserts. But to say that these Black teens are destroying cities, they can't destroy the skyscrapers. They can't destroy the bridges. They can't destroy the airports. I get what you guys are saying. I just don't agree with that. But go ahead, guys. You want to tackle that?
I mean, they can vandalize infrastructure. Destroy is maybe a little bit of stretch, even though they did burn down the Wendy's after the Rashard Brooks shooting in Atlanta. They burned the whole Wendy's down. But what I want to say about
the economy,
they can affect the economy. They can instill fear in other demographics, right? So when we talk about the food deserts, okay, I did a story on this. I've done a live stream on this and other stories covering this. Black people complain about the food deserts that we create, okay? The reason there are food deserts is because we just keep running in stores and stealing stuff. And these stores are losing, okay? They're losing money because Black people just don't want to pay for stuff. They feel entitled to the goods and services in these establishments, okay? So that may cause the store to shut down, which is going to cause the quote unquote food desert, which was created by the community. And then when you try and stop these people, and maybe you have to use physical or lethal force, then they're going to be protesting outside the Walmart saying, hey, don't shop here. And then that's just going to put the establishment even more in the red. So can they physically destroy infrastructure? I mean, it's possible. It's happened before, but on a mass scale, most likely not. But when they do decide to go out in mass and destroy whatever is in their wake, like vehicles, people, if you look at the mobs in Chicago, they're jumping on people's hoods. Even in New York City, they're jumping on people's hoods, trashing their personal property and whatnot. So they're not being stopped, right? So when they're going out and doing this, there are no repercussions. There are no consequences. There are no retroactive arrests. They're not using the $1 million camera system that they just installed into the city of Chicago, multi-million-dollar. I think it's like $120 million of cameras that they put on the streets. They're not stopping, even though they have facial recognition technology to acknowledge every single person who went out and mobbed in the street. They're not retroactively arresting these people. They're not bringing them up on charges. They're allowing it to happen. It's controlled chaos for sure in order to push certain political policies.
Okay. Mo, did you want to broach that real quick? Are these Black kids capable of destroying cities? I don't agree, but Black Gen Z made a good point, despite my disagreement. And other people in the chat are making good points, but do you agree with that? Are these little Negroes capable of destroying the infrastructure?
No, they're not capable of destroying the infrastructure, but 651 brought up a good point that they could really affect the economy. in terms of getting stuff like stores are going to be closing. You're going to have a food desert, all that good stuff. So really at the end of the day, it's just all about economics. It's not about infrastructure. But it can roll over though. Like you won't have any money to help the infrastructure or anything like that.
Okay. American First Rifleman AFR, salute to you, man. We're talking about the Larry Elder interview. I think it is the equivalent of when Michael Jordan dropped 63, or better yet, when he dropped that game-winning shot over, what was that white boy's name? What's that white boy's name? Craig Elo. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was epic yesterday. I thought the interview with Vivek was epic, but no, this one yesterday topped the cake. Larry Elder is, oh my God, this man must have a 150 IQ. AFR, what say you about the interview, sir? And especially with that Negro mammy woman that was giving him problems. Go ahead.
Me personally, for one, I just want to say it's an honor to be on a panel with Gen Z mindset. I was rocking with you when you were like under 1,000 subscribers. So big fan. I watch your stuff. Keep telling the truth because, people are going to try to, try to excoriate you for it. So just keep doing what you're doing. You're rising. Anyway, I call them husky hyenas. This is what I call them because it's the truth. It's the truth because they can be highly educated. I'm sorry, but they can be highly educated, and just because they don't have the same outcomes as they're producing these terrorists on the streets, they still give ideological cover to the very forces that allow this to happen. So, it just is part of the course. Anybody, it doesn't matter if they're black, white, Indian, or whatever. It just proves if you come into their thought silo with anything different, you're going to be maligned and attacked, and they can't have that. So,
Big Time with the $5 super chat says the blacks looted a ShopRite in North Philly for 15 straight hours. Took the National Guard to stop the shooting. I didn't know that. There was so much going on in 2020, man.
Oh yeah, Philly is bad.
Savage with the $5 super chat says,
was that the year when they had all them riots for the George?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't count. That was,
that's what I was saying. I don't count that.
I don't count that. I'm talking about normally, like on an everyday basis when I hear.
I mean, but that's the thing that kicked off the major crime wave that's still persistent today. That's what kicked off the defund the police. That's what kicked off the criminal justice reform. So, I mean, it's a factor, but.
I mean, I think we needed a criminal justice reform, but
now we need a crime bill.
We need a crime bill.
It has to be a balance. It has to be a balance.
There was balance though.
No,
they destroyed the balance.
Let me read the super chat real quick. Hold on, give me a second. Savage with the $5 super chat says, "Let's give these kids reparations, $5 million each. I'm sure all the craziness will stop, just like it did when Young Thug got rich and stopped gangbanging." Oh, Savage coming in with the sarcasm. Go ahead, 651.
So, I mean, I get it. We have to do something about the looting. So what y'all want to do? Lock these kids up in prison for like 5 years for looting?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Make them break rocks.
That's the extreme. Like, I work,
and then it's extreme what they're doing on the streets. I mean, I'm not trying to cut you off, brother, but it's really extreme what they're doing to people. Okay, they're literally taking in. It's not even the fact that they're taking out other low IQ, low productive black people. It's just that they're attacking other productive members in society. I'll give you an example. Out in Houston, there was a Vietnamese immigrant, and I'm gonna keep talking about this woman's case. There was a Vietnamese immigrant, came to this country with literally nothing, literally lived in a mud hut, came, started businesses, paying into the system. She wants to go, she withdraws like $7,000-8,000 out of her bank account to take it back to her country to invest or do whatever with her money, and she gets body slammed by the spawn of a husky hyena, a young kid pretty much, body slams her, paralyzed for life.
Okay.
This is the burden these people put on America.
They're killing people.
They need to be gone.
I get that.
They're not just looting.
What I'm saying is you got violent crimes and then you got soft crimes. So what I'm asking you guys, for a kid that probably in a horrible situation, give you an example. Mom on drugs, he's in the 5th grade, 6th grade. He's stealing out of Walmart because his mom not there, don't know who dad is, to make sure his siblings eat. Are we gonna lock that, y'all? So what y'all saying, lock that kid up for life? Like lock him up in prison?
Not for life.
Okay, can I
hold on.
Okay.
There's violent crimes and then there's crime. You can't blame a child for the situation they brought up in. Now, I'm not one of them guys that say defund the police, but it has to be some accountability for the parents. And there has to be some accountability for these teenagers that are doing violent crimes. Now, the juvenile that you say that slammed the Vietnamese down, yeah, he got to do prison time for that. Now, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. But you telling me that somebody that's looting, depending on the situation, we're going to send that kid to prison for trying to feed his little one because his mama on drugs and in a messed up situation? It has to be a balance. That's what I'm saying.
Before you answer,
okay,
before you answer, I gotta read these super chats real quick. Big Time with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much. Says chaotic. I have to disagree. The '92 riots across the city of LA. 2 billion.
Yeah, I like that. Was a good documentary.
That's a good point. But again, we're talking about on a day-to-day basis, and I don't believe these kids on a day-to-day basis are destroying cities. It's just impossible. Yeah, I think so either. Big Time with the $5 super chat says Philly was sent ablaze in 2020 for the Philly Walter Wallace, a home invader and woman beater. Go ahead, AFR. You want to broach what 651 said? Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I'll use my anecdotal example of that situation because during the 90s, my mom was the quintessential husky hyena that cared more about drugs than her family, and I had to a couple of times when I lived in Elizabeth, New Jersey. Had to steal out Portuguese stores because a lot of Portuguese people had businesses where we were, and I had to steal out of there to feed my younger brother and sister. And I had to do it a few times, and I hated myself for that. But unfortunately, say a kid is caught. I didn't get caught, thank God. I didn't get caught. But I also knew I shouldn't have been doing that in the first place. So even if we were in dire straits. So say if a kid does get caught engaging in this activity, there's already outlets to not criminalize them, okay? There's already laws on the books to make sure they don't have some type of crazy like felony or misdemeanor that would stop them later in life if they stop committing those crimes. And the thing about it is, this is where the Black community comes in. We have the resources to help these young boys, whether it be private and public partnerships, but we choose not to. So that's why when you come with these excuses like, oh, his mom's on drugs and all this other stuff, we ain't trying to help these kids. So that's why, unfortunately, we have to me, in my opinion, we have to focus on victims of these things. More than these kids, if we're not willing to help these kids. If people are having programs in place to actually help these kids before they fall completely through the cracks, then I'm all for it. But we refuse to do it as a collective. So that's why it to me, it's just excuse making, because this is something we literally can. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Let me say one thing. Hold on, I didn't mean to cut you up. So what do you tell a 13-year-old, 14-year-old? How do he get to them resources?
Go to school, go to class. You know what I'm saying? Go to class. There's plenty of programs in the school. I work for the Boys and Girls Club in Atlanta, Georgia. And these guys, I mean, they're volunteering like a mug, bro. They're taking kids to school. They're picking them up in their Cadillac Escalades, bringing these kids to school, dropping them back at if the bus doesn't come to their route. Like, there are men and women who have completely dedicated their lives to service in the Black community. I just did a story on this activist pastor, a crime interventionist in Chicago. His name is Robin Hood, ironic name, but his son was actually murdered. His son was a 16-year-old boy murdered in Chicago. And this brother he's been an activist for over 30 years in Chicago, and he's been trying to stop the violence. I'm telling you right now, you gave that scenario of, oh, well, what if their mom's on drugs? And a lot of these kids they have mothers who care about them. Yeah, and like you said, that's the extreme. That's the outlier. A lot of these kids, they do have food to eat. They got Jordans. They got PRPS pants. They got designer clothes. They have all the things that they need. The problem is culturally they've been brought up with no accountability. Their mothers don't discipline them. That's the biggest issue. It's not that they mama ain't got no money and she can't afford to feed them. No, they're eating every day. They don't have the discipline. And when you actually look at a lot of these kids, it's an issue at home because they're fatherless. A lot of times they're fatherless, but then they're also being taught the wrong things. This comes down to right and wrong. What's right and what is wrong. And what's right is that if you do something to somebody, you're held accountable. And that's what we're not doing. And the community is enabling it. So, you spoke about the system. There needs to be balance. It needs to be fair. There was balance in the system before all this George Floyd stuff started happening. People were, I don't know if you've ever been arrested before, but it's not that hard to get out of being arrested. Okay. Like when you get arrested, you get bail, you get bond, you get, even if you get a public defender, even if you hire an attorney, you're going to get a better deal. But even if you get a public defender, they're giving sweetheart deals. I know dudes who trafficking, fentanyl laced pills through the airport, through Hartsville, Jackson, they're getting probation.
Yeah,
supervised release, no house
that.
arrest, no ankle monitor. And I'm not saying,
go ahead.
I don't see, that's the thing. I don't even disagree with it. The man didn't kill nobody. He was just, smuggling drugs, but, and he learned his lesson, whatnot. He turned his life around, but they've been giving sweetheart deals for the longest. A lot of these guys you've seen getting screwed and getting long ass sentences, they have a prior arrest record. Okay. And they've done so many things that it's added up and accumulated to the sentence that's being handed down. Another thing is demeanor in the courtroom. This is one of the main things that I address on my channel. The reason why you see a quote unquote disproportionate sentencing of black and white people for the same crime is what the statistic that they like to spouse. But, I'm not even going to get into that because that's incorrect. But the reason why a lot of these dudes get bent over is because their demeanor in court, slouching, sitting back. There's a victim's family right behind you and you don't care. You're not remorseful. You're not respectful to the judge. The guy who did the Waukesha, he drove into the crowd and ran over people in the Christmas parade. Did you see his demeanor in court? Yeah. He went and defended himself, and he got handed multiple life sentences. I guarantee if he would have shut the hell up and hired an attorney, he would have got a way better deal. And that guy was a repeat offender, known gang member. He would have got life, but he would have got a way better deal.
But Jizzy, we have to admit, that was one of the funniest trials ever. Even though
it was hilarious.
It was absolutely. I know. Hold on for 1 second. Savage with the $5 super chat says, so if I get my 6-year-old to shoot someone dead because I'm a bad dad, you're going to let my son off? Go ahead, guys. You want to answer this question? Go ahead.
The son won't do time for that. That falls on the parent. That happened all the time where the child get the gun and shoot his. It was an incident, I think somewhere in the Midwest. The 5-year-old or 6-year-old accidentally shot the mom in the head because the father put the gun in his backpack. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That child ain't go to they arrested the child. They arrested the father for putting a gun in the child backpack. The kids won't get charged for that. That falls on the parent.
Yeah.
Philly has. Thank you so much, big time, for the twat. Really appreciate it. Says Philly has 170 recreation centers, violence interpreters, free tokens for buses and subways, and are giving free meals every week in public schools. When does everyone else get to stop paying for the crime from the blacks? Go ahead, guys. You want to answer that question?
I mean, like I said, y'all taking my what I said way low. I believe in accountability, but there are instances where, because I work with that youth kid, there are instances where the child or children is like, they just in a messed up situation. But at the same time, I think what Firearm said, these violent crimes, I don't have no sympathy for it. Like they got to put them away. Like for slamming somebody on the ground and broke that lady back, nah, you got to do prison time for that. There are different sets of rules. Like in the state of Florida, I live in the state of Florida. A juvenile has to do something like he has to do like murder or any violent crime to actually go to prison. And sometimes, like, all right, I'm gonna give you a case right now. There's a juvenile that came from New York. He beat a murder charge, came down in the county I work at, the county where I live in. He's a big juvenile. He was kidnapping women, snatching them up, and sexually assaulting them. He came from New York. Now they had him in the juvenile justice system. Now they charge him with adult charges. He's laughing and kikiing and think this. And I said, dude, you got big boy charges. You got 2 sexual assault. You got robbery with a firearm, and you think it's funny. Now he's gonna get prison time for it in the state of Florida. He's gonna do time. In some states, he'll probably do like 10 years, 5 years, and be out and do it all over again. So I do think that I do believe in certain accountability, like certain charges, and you gotta lock them folks up.
651, real quick. I gotta ask you a question, and this is respectfully. Why you have a master's degree, right?
Nah.
Bachelor's?
Yes.
Why do you, and I'm being very respectful, man, you know, you're a good guy, but why are you wasting your time around these little nigglets?
I don't work with kids.
I thought you said you did.
I used to.
Oh, you used to?
Okay. Yeah, I don't work with kids.
I was wondering. Why are you wasting your time?
No. I'm in government. I don't want to tell you what I do. I'm in government. Yeah. But I used to work with at-risk kids. Then, you know, I went out and I still work with government, but not in that aspect. I don't work with...
Well, I can answer that.
Oh, go ahead, Gen Z. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I can answer because I do work with kids. I work with the Boys and Girls Club. And the reason why I do it is because I love these kids, man. I want to see them prosper. I want to see them do good. And I know how impactful a male influence it was in my life. Even though I had my father, I had my mother, I lived in a nuclear household with 6 kids in the household. So I had a big family and we were all one, but sometimes that discipline from your dad, it just don't hit the same because you might hold a grudge against him. But then when you hear it from another man that you look up to, then you're like, okay, my dad was saying the same thing. Maybe he's on to something. So you need that positive reinforcement from people, from external forces outside of your family in order to direct you on the right path. Because sometimes you will rebel against your parents. But when you have that coach, or you have that PE teacher, or you have that male science teacher who says, hey, man, I see a lot of potential in you. This last test that you bombed, the test before that, the pre-test, you made an A on it. So what's going on with you? How can we get you to reproduce these positive results rather than the negative results? And when you do that and you sit down with these kids and you actually show them that you care and you actually lay down the hammer and implement discipline on them, they love you for that, okay? I work with a lot of elementary school kids. And, they might be acting out and I send one of them outside of the classroom. And then, 5 minutes later, they're begging to come back. Oh, please, Mr. Mack, I'm not going to mess up no more. I promise. They're begging because they want to be disciplined. They want that structure because it shows them that somebody gives a damn about them. And that's a part of the problem that, we need people to show them that we actually give a damn about them, because a lot of these single mothers, they put different things, they prioritize other things over their children. I'm not trying to call out all the single mothers, but I've seen it time and time again. You got a kid in after school until 8 p.m. Where's the mom at? Why didn't she pick up her child yet? You see, and these are issues that I face on a daily basis. And these kids, they internalize it. They may not get the full picture of what's going on, but they're like, how come all the other kids get picked up at 5 p.m. when after school ends, but my ass is here till 8 p.m. They realize that their home life is different from their peers, and that comes out in a negative behavior pattern when they're in school. So they need that correction. They need that direction. Otherwise, they're going to fall down a detrimental path into their preteen and teen years.
Okay. Let me read this super chat real quick. Savage says, let's keep the same energy for the school shooters because clearly their home life is bad. Guys, you want to broach this one?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah. Oh, go ahead, Genji.
No, you got it, bro. I just spoke.
That's why I really don't like the narrative, and I'm not trying to pick on the brother, but the narrative 615 or what's his number or whatever, when he's like, oh, what about this? What about that? And they try to bring up all these examples as to, or psychoanalyze as to why they committed that crime. And it's just like, dude, we've already shown that there's middle-class kids. Hold on, sorry.
Go ahead, bro. It's not that loud though.
Yeah, it ain't that loud. We can hear you.
Okay. Cool. So they already have middle class kids with bad influence, doing this stuff. It's really just the crux of it, and it's at home. It's what the parents are doing. I don't know if maybe we need to have a public thing to where we know what parents are doing or something, because parents are failing in this country. Before we can go out and just start saying, oh, the government, the matrix and the system and all this stuff, parents are making these decisions not to invest in their kids. And I'm talking about working class people as well. So where they're having these outcomes to where, the dad is makes 80,000 and the mom makes like 60,000 or 45,000, and they make plenty to raise 1 or 2 or 3 kids, but they're not home and they're not, they're putting tablets in front of their kids or, stuff like that. So instead of taking them to sports or getting them to go to like Asian kids, or not Asian kids, but like Asian families, they have their kids in cram school, even in America. They have them, right after school, they go right to cram school. But it seems white and black parents they can't be bothered to do the same thing. So that's why we're having these crazy outcomes where people are well off and they're shooting up schools, or they're well off with their Jordans and they're knocking people over the head in their local downtown. It's the parents.
Savage with the $5 super chat says, when I was in the street, we didn't get these deals. I tell my wife, if they were giving these deals back then, I would still be in the streets, guys.
I mean, I just have to see what type of charges you had because...
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
I think there were meth charges.
I doubt you weren't, especially your first offense, I doubt you weren't given a sweetheart deal.
Ivy Dream says the Columbine shooters were upper middle class. Yeah.
I will say this, Gen C, you said something about your conduct in the courtroom when you said that these individuals don't have good conduct in the courtroom. 2007, here in Pennsylvania, we actually had a murder of a 6-month-old baby. Now, it was a wife and a husband. I could go into details, but let's just put it this way. There were burn marks from the hip down to the feet with the baby. The baby had bite marks, and the baby suffered from baby shaking syndrome. Now, both the women and the male was both charged with third-degree murder. Now, the woman was supposed to live a shorter sentence, but because of the conduct of her husband, she got a longer sentence. So he ended up getting, I think, like 50 years to life. He should have gotten the death sentence. You can't just kill a 6-month-old, especially if that child is your daughter. But you see the consequences of also not being able to vet who you get with, because she said, oh, this guy was charming, this person was this person was that. Either way, if you're a male or female, you have to vet who you get with, because stuff like this could happen. You could find yourself in a courtroom, and because of the conduct of your significant other, you can end up being in jail for a long time. Like, she went from 12 years to 40 years because of his conduct.
Yep.
And he was only 18 at the time, too.
Savage with $5 super chat says, aggravated trafficking and tampering with evidence related to attempted murk, 2 different cases.
That was your first. Well, I mean, you're white, ain't you?
What the hell is aggravated trafficking? Damn, they be making up laws.
I mean, the reality is, I mean, you had a multitude of charges. So if that's what you racked up on your first offense, then that's on you, bro. But I'm telling you right now, most guys in the streets are getting sweetheart deals. I mean, look at Justin Johnson, the guy who is being charged for murder and rape charges, who deleted Young Dolph. The first offense that he was caught for, at least, he shot up a bowling alley, and it was a white judge. The white judge sentenced him to 5 years. 85%, he had to do 85% of his time. The guy did like less than 18 months time served. So and then he comes out of jail a year later, kills Young Dolph. So that's a sweetheart deal. You shoot up a bowling alley, you get a sentence of 5 years. You don't even do 85%, and you're out in 18 months, and then to go on and commit another murder, no accountability. And this was a white judge in Memphis, in the deep South, who gave him that sweetheart deal. So what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of these white judges, they were indoctrinated with the white guilt. Okay, so they feel white guilt, and they feel like they are making it right by giving out sweetheart deals. Because they're trying to clear their conscience or the conscience of their ancestors and whatnot. It's internalized racism against themselves, and that's what they've been doing. And that's why you see a lot of these repeat offenders getting sweetheart deals. You look at Larry Krasner, let him go Larry, as they like to call him in Philadelphia. There's other white DAs as well. The DA in Los Angeles, I forgot his name.
George Gascon.
Say what now?
George Gascon.
Yeah, Gascon. And he's letting them go. So these guys with the liberal ideology, they believe that they are rectifying a wrong of the criminal justice system, when in all actuality, mass incarceration happened because there were masses of, people of color or white people or people in general committing crimes. That's why it happened, not because, they were out to get you. It's because your ass was committing crimes.
Savage with the $5 super chat says, you are not understanding, didn't get a sweetheart deal. If I had, I would still be a criminal. 2 different cases. Nina, I
am what his first charge was, what his first offense was, and then he dropped like 3 charges. So I need to understand more of the details in order to give you an explanation as to why you were sentenced in the way that you were. So,
Nina, what say you to the Larry Elder interview on the Breakfast Club? Go ahead, Nina.
Well, because of you, I actually went and listened to the Larry Elder interview, because otherwise I wouldn't have known that it even existed.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that from your channel, point blank, period.
Thank you.
With that said, you know me, I'm kind of like an outsider, but not exactly. And me and my brothers are laughing at this completely, completely laughing at it. Like I'm not saying you, all right, but you guys are just constantly asking white people to save you. And white people got their own fucking problems. I'm sorry to curse.
You can, women can curse. Go ahead.
Yeah, white people have their own problems.
Yeah.
Own problems. They're not checking for you like that. You need to get your shit together, period. Point blank, period. Like, I've been dealing with a lot right now for the past couple of weeks. No one is coming to save you. No one. So with that, and my brothers, we've all coiled in tightly. Even in this building, we've coiled in tightly. No one is coming to save you, so you have to save yourself. And
what was a highlight of the interview that you noticed? What was a highlight? Go ahead.
Charlemagne just gives me gay energy. I'm just saying. Me being from the previously from the rainbow community, he just always gives me the the rainbow vibe. I'm just saying.
Is that really a highlight? But go ahead, though. Go ahead.
That is the only highlight, because at the end of the day, the only Black men that I choose to deal with in my everyday life, because most of them I don't, they have to be that. They have to be UCT. They have to be Smitty. They have to be American First Rifle. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be about something. Otherwise, and then I'm bashful right now because I know my brother's in the chat. I'm not going to give you his name, but I know he's in there.
Good.
And it's like, oh my God, he's finally, in the beginning, because of 777, he was like, no, I'm not listening to that trash anymore. But he was like, you know what? You talk about him so much that now I'm going to listen. So he's in the chat right now. Literally right now. It's kind of bashful for me.
Did you ever go to school with people like Charlemagne or DJ Envy or this cackling hyena, the Black woman on there? It's
no.
Okay, I did. I went to school with a lot of these types of kids, and these were the loud mouths. These were the kids who always wanted attention, but they were stupid, and they didn't come with a package. I can see if you were loud and you were popular and you were smart, but a lot of times you get these types of people who are just loud and they're dumb, but because they're loud, they get a popularity from being loud, and then people will sit back and say, hey man, they're really stupid for real. And yesterday I heard a lot of stupidity. I heard that, you know, the hyena, her name is Taslin. She is basically saying that she was questioning Larry Elder, saying that Blacks don't control any systems. And Larry Elder was dropping fact bomb after fact bomb. It was like a air raid of bombs. And he was saying like, okay, what about the courts? What about the education system? What about cities where Blacks are the police chiefs? This, that, and the other. She said, that ain't the system. So I'm confused here. What is the system, Nina, that she's talking about? Maybe you can interpret her as a woman, because I don't know what she's talking about. Go ahead.
Right. So I'm confused about that myself, because even with me being in corporate America for a living to pay for this expensive ass rent in Brooklyn, there's a whole bunch of Black girl magic that goes on around here. So they fake the funk when they're talking to you, but over here it's, oh, hi, how are you doing? Yeah. Oh, hey, let's have a latte. Yes, let me walk my little dog that I have to put in my little pouch and just be like as white as I can, even though I'm not. Listen, I live around it, okay? You're not fooling anybody, sis. You're not, okay? So you know how you can be the Negro whisperer? I can be the biracial whisperer, because I can always call these fake Black bitches out in a minute. Period. And so I'm not apologizing for it.
So she doesn't live in the hood? She doesn't live next door to Corin, huh?
No, she does not. She lives around me. She lives around me. She lives in a white neighborhood.
And so she
like
goes to Starbucks and with her little dog, and she gets the $8 dragon lemonade drinks.
Yes.
Okay, I thought.
Yes.
She won't buy from the Pan African Coffee Company.
No, she won't. She lives by me. Okay, really? She lives by me. Yeah. She's my fucking neighbor, and I'm sorry to curse on you, but my brother's on the panel or in the chat right now, so like I feel really cool about that. Like I'm totally bashful, but yeah, my brother's in the chat. And so with that said, going forward, we need to be honest about certain things. We need to not be like on some, the community, because that's what I was, right? CT, that's how I met you in the first place, because I felt so bad about me not knowing anything about Blackness. But this Blackness is bullshit.
You ain't missing on nothing.
Right, so I'm not missing it on anything. And my brothers, they all married non-Black women. And then I was sitting here dating the Black guy, and he was a whole ass coon. Period. So, with that said, here we are. Here we are. And I'm standing on that. CT, and I'm going to support everything that you're doing. So keep doing it. And fuck 777 because he's a fat boy anyway in West New York.
He's
Fuck
a scumbag. 777 is a scumbag.
Yeah, but I understand that he rocks your views. I get it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's a fat boy, and that's why he's mad at me. So I don't care. So that's all I had to say about it.
777 would leave you in a foxhole bleeding to death if this was real. That's how much.
Of course, he's not the Italians that I grew up with in Jersey. Period.
Yeah.
Nina dropping them.
That's for damn sure.
Right now.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play some more of the video. You guys can tell me to stop. Nina came through with fire today. What's up, AFR?
I did want to add to, because you didn't ask me the question about the infrastructure thing, about can blacks destroy infrastructure? I actually wanted to add to that. By and large, now it depends on which infrastructure you're talking about, because
let's use airports, bridges, highways. Let's use real infrastructure, not mom and pop side stores. Yeah.
They actually can heavily damage or disrupt them. Maybe not completely destroy, but there are other infrastructures that they can destroy, like the electrical grid. That's kind of like low-hanging fruit. Hell, like one glacier glide, I'm gonna use OC networks.
So you're saying that like that girl, right? And I know you guys were shocked the other day when I was taking up for that girl on the subway. Are you telling me that girl and her friends have the ability to destroy electrical grids?
Yes.
Now,
because you can literally, okay, like I said, there's like, it took like what, 2 or 3 glacier gliders to like, destroy a substation or whatever. So I think a few feral folks that we may know will go over there, like Corin's cousins. You don't need high levels of intelligence to destroy stuff like that. They're going to get electrocuted in the process probably, but they can destroy it. And so I think like certain like electrical grids and certain stuff, they can disrupt them, heavily disrupt, or like damage. But yes, by and large, no, you can't destroy.
That always, and I got to come to the defense of these kids now. Has that always been the MO of Black youth vigilantism? That's more political. That's more Antifa-like. I don't think that these Black kids are thinking, let's go destroy the sanitation grid. Let's be honest. You guys are being to the extreme here, but go ahead. I'm listening.
I mean, I get you. Okay, CT, you do have
they're not destroying the sanitation grid.
You do have a good point, CT. I'm not gonna. That's why I'm not going too far. But still, they can cause a lot of damage to where it may feel like it's destroyed.
Yeah. What they're doing is they're getting in these group me's, and they're getting like a group of 30, 40 people all mobbed up, and they're going to stores and looting. So it's like they're destroying the business.
Could it be argued that a lot of those kids are in mask? We don't really know the racial group of the kids. Could it be?
No, you do.
We do.
Wait a minute.
We do.
I gotta wait a minute. Now, I've seen some videos. These kids are sometimes completely masked. We don't know if these are Hispanics. Some of Hispanics are white.
Okay.
These could be
CT.
white kids. We don't really know.
Okay, CT. Okay.
Listen, and you know me. I'm the Negro whisperer, but a lot of those videos I've seen, yes, I've seen a lot of smash and grabs that deal with Blacks, but I've seen a lot of smash and grabs where it is highly coordinated, and these kids are covered from head to toe and use their mask. Those could be white kids, Hispanics. They could be East Indian.
Okay.
We don't know, but go ahead.
Okay, CT. Here's the deal.
Go ahead.
It's regional. Okay, so for one, some regions more than others, you'll have them a higher demographic of Black youth smashing and grabbing or whatever. But that's still organized retail crime, and that's something I deal with. And I can tell you, a lot of these big coastal cities, especially in the Midwest, have a higher concentration of Black folks. Out where I am, you're not going to get as many. So it's a thing, and I would say yes, like whites and Hispanics are involved, or Asians as well, but they're usually at the top of the pyramid.
So AFR, let me push back on you a little bit, because the fact that I'm in a particular part of Brooklyn, we have white crime too. Okay, we definitely do, but the difference between us, and I'm saying us, and I'm using myself as a collective as part of it, we don't make excuses for it.
Yeah.
Every white person that I live with, if they see another white person acting out of pocket, they'll be like, oh yeah, because that's white trash. Come and pick them the F up. When Black people do it, it's always, oh, well, maybe they had their, like a wrong home, upbringing and all of that. They make all kinds of fucking excuses for it. I'm sorry, CT, to be cursing on your channel. But no, nobody puts up with that here. Nobody. When I first moved to this apartment, remember, CT, I told you, I said, this is a building full of Israelis. All of these Israelis don't give a F about any other people that are white either, because they consider themselves Israeli versus white. And so, yeah, if you're acting out of pocket, you're smoking too many cigarettes, you're doing too much stuff in terms of like hanging out and loitering, no, they're not putting up with it. So the standard of behavior is different in my neighborhood. And that's what Black people need. You need to not be like, oh, well, they're just hanging out in front of the store. No, bitch, why are you hanging out in front of the store if you're not buying anything? Yeah. You don't do that around here. So that's why this neighborhood is the way it is.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, okay, wait a minute. Let's talk here.
Okay.
Hold on for a second. Let me read the super chat real quick. Salute to you, unapologetic manhood. Let me read the super chat. Guys, thank you so much for hitting the super chats and cash app. Savage says, AFR, don't make me ride up on this panel on my glacier in the majestic ambiance of being a bleach demon. And Krabby Turtle says, kids rolling up the NYC causing destruction, not messing with the infrastructure. This panel is sus. I gotta agree. Let's talk here for a minute. AFR and Black Gen Z. These kids aren't destroying bridges. They're not think about this, right? A bridge. On any given day, a bridge could have hundreds of thousands of people going about their day, contributing to the economy by going to work, going to stores, etc. When people say that these kids, they destroyed a Wendy's, okay, they destroyed a Wendy's during a riot. But they're not destroying a bridge that literally could be the lifeline of the economic flow of a city. And I gotta be very careful here because I don't want to say something and it triggers the YouTube and then the FBI. They're not destroying major infrastructure. They're not destroying airports. Think about all the traffic that goes in through an airport. They're not destroying stadiums. Think about how much money a stadium generates on a game day. And think about the surrounding area that generates money with people going to the restaurants. Give me a second. So if these kids are just jumping on cars and twerking, that's bad. I get it, but is it really you guys are kind of sounding like Klansmen now in the 30s. Now this is getting ridiculous, even for me, because I hate to listen. Don't get me wrong. I don't like what's going on either. But I can't say that these kids are destroying cities though. Like that's more high level militia.
Yeah. Can I address that?
I know that you address this to the men, but I will tell you as a female, if I was seeing that kind of stuff and it being like completely ignored and not, chastised, then it would make me feel less safe. And I will tell you, me as a female, I'm the one that goes to the ice cream shop. I'm the one that goes to the pizzeria. I'm the one that after gymnastics practice, all of my girls are hanging out at the place where all the guys want to be. So if you make me feel so unsafe around niggas, then I'm not going to be there. And guess what? You're not going to be making the money that I get for my allowance that my dad gave me every week. Okay?
Yeah. I wouldn't claim that they're destroying infrastructure en masse, but they are destroying businesses. They are destroying the way of life, the American way of life. And especially when it comes to Black businesses, okay? I did a story in LA. I've done stories in Memphis. I've done stories in Atlanta where you have groups of Black kids who are going into specifically targeted Black businesses and stealing their merchandise, destroying the inside of the building that they're renting. So, I'm not going to say they're just like toppling skyscrapers or anything like that, but they are destroying the everyday way of life. They're interfering with people's idea of safety. You know, people are scared to pump their gas in the city of Atlanta because, you know, the kids are coming up and robbing them at gunpoint. So, you know, it definitely affects the way of life. I'm not going to say they're destroying infrastructure en masse, but yeah, that's my take.
Adam said colonized Africa destroyed everything when European colonizers left. You don't realize how easy it is to destroy. Even with that, right? I gotta take the high road here from my perspective. It's not that they destroyed it, it's that they couldn't maintain those cities, like in Joburg or Soweto in South Africa. In many places, they have maintained these cities. I mean, look at Angola, you know, look at even look at a place like Rwanda, right? Rwanda, you know, there are Black African countries where they have maintained the infrastructure and even added to the infrastructure. But don't call me a liberal. I'm just telling you the truth. But go ahead, AFR.
CT. Listen, I know a person from Youngstown, Ohio.
Oh, that's horrible.
Okay. And he told me the truth about what it was like living in Youngstown, Ohio.
That is Nina, let me tell you something. When I was in college, we used to take trips to Youngstown State University. And it must have been something wrong with me when I was younger. It was so dangerous, but we were kids. We loved going there. We loved staying in the hood at our friends' houses, you know, college tripping. You wouldn't catch me in Youngstown driving through it. I wouldn't even fly over Youngstown.
And this is what he told me. This is what he told me with me being from Brooklyn. He was like, no way is your part of Brooklyn like the Youngstown, Ohio that I grew up in. Think about it. He was the only Puerto Rican in an Italian neighborhood in Youngstown, Ohio.
It's pretty bad there.
So he loved being around here.
But Nina, industry. So I'm very familiar with Youngstown. Industry left Youngstown. Now, I know I'm going to get put into the liberal category for this because I'm giving an excuse. But
you're right, because I have another friend that did that. You know, he also told me.
But Nina, population decline, lack of industry. Yes, Youngstown has gone into a bit of a state of decay and abandonment. But I can't sit there and say Blacks were responsible for Youngstown either. I just can't do it.
But
let me just real quick. Bob in $10 super chat says termites don't destroy a home like a bomb, but they certainly can make a home unlivable. Large destruction like terrorism is a threat that people can't control. Termites you can. You know, Bob.
This is the thing, CT. It's like the quality of life. Like once you start to degrade that and nothing is a big deal anymore, it becomes a bigger deal 10 years later. It does. It really does. I mean, I'm looking at New York City. Okay, I'm sorry.
Francisco with the $10 super chat says American cities are eroding because of the voters and the people they vote in. Crime is just a symptom. Low information voters ruin cities. AFR and Nina, go ahead.
I remember.
Hold on, Nina. Hold on. Sure. You got to talk over me a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Ladies.
This morning. Go ahead.
Ladies get preference here, so we straight. Yes, CT, you are right, 100%. Like, I don't think I said you were wrong ever, even if you were talking about the other day. It's just that they're not destroying the bridges, but here they have a huge bridge called the Fremont Bridge. It's a testament to American ingenuity and civilization. It literally makes this city run. Like you say, bridges are the economic lifeblood. Well, say they're not destroying it when they do the street takeovers that they do and shoot up innocent people when these things are happening. Now we know Hispanic youth, white youth, and Black youth, but it's the same thing where they have shout out to Francisco talking about the voters. The voters actually are letting this happen. So yeah, it's their fault. But what I'm saying is a lot of people that aren't as measured as you, Nina, Gen Z, and me that can say, yeah, they're not destroying the stuff, but there's other people that aren't going to care that every time they see stuff like this, it's going to feel to them like everything's being destroyed, even though it's physically not being destroyed. The fabric's being destroyed, everything. So to them, it's just like you're destroying the infrastructure. And it feels that way. And that's how people are going to like project after that. So what I'm saying is, yes, you're right. It's not being physically destroyed, but in people's minds right now, they're going to the extreme because it feels like it. So that's how I feel about it.
So AFR, what that tells me is that there's a growing apathy for just downtrodden things that are happening in the community. And CT, what I was going to say before that, I remember when Giuliani went buck wild crazy in New York City. This is when I used to be a club promoter. He was shutting down all of the parties that I was making crazy money with. Because why? White kids were dying from overdoses. He shut down everything. I couldn't make money anymore. Like easily $300-400 a night I used to make just a whole list, okay? Just a whole list at these parties. But then guess what? You weirdos are just so coked up that you were dying. And so I spent more of the night with the coroner from NYPD coming into the club versus me actually like making the money that I wanted to make. But I still made my money. But I'm just saying, he had to clean house so bad that you finally saw Times Square lit up like Disneyland, and then like normal people could like actually sit there and rest. Okay? But it takes that. And this is what I'm saying. It takes that. It takes making some parking lots in order for us to clean stuff up. And I don't feel any kind of bad about it. So maybe that's my white side. I don't feel bad about making a parking lot.
No, I grew up during that time, Nina. I grew up during that time.
Okay, so then with that said, like Black people are always complaining about the hood, but the hood. But you never want to leave the hood though. You never want to make the hood a parking lot so we can make it into Times Square. How about you just do that? My family came here as immigrants for the most part and made it work. In a situation where that guy, Aldolf, he didn't like people that look like me. I'll just say it like that. And so my family made it work here. So I'm just saying, with that and me understanding more, and thank you, CT, for helping me to understand more in terms of the culture. Like, of course, I know the educational part, but the culture, all right, you guys have to do something different. You have to. You just have to. This is stupid. And even Greg, he gets so fucking frustrated. I'm sorry for cursing again. I'm sorry. He's like, stop it. Stop. He said to me, he said, when I first started working at New York Life, he's like, I know that you want to reach out to the Black and the Latino community, but they're not there for you. They're not. And he was right.
About that.
He was right.
He was right about that.
CT, he was fucking right.
Yeah, he was right.
And I cried about it on his lap. I cried about it because I tried so hard. Okay, so that's what I got to say about that.
Let me read these super chats real quick. Savage says, CT, I'm twerking on your car every day now. Savage also says the whites pulled out of Youngstown, or AKA the Yo. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
One thing I wanted to say about that time, like Giuliani, I remember like when I was like a kid in the 90s, obviously. And I remember older guys that were doing stuff in the streets that they weren't supposed to do, dealing drugs and stuff like that. They would be coming back because a lot of Jersey people were in New York doing a lot of grimy stuff. And they'd be like, man, you get like a little bag of drugs. Them judges ain't playing, man. They send you up north, bruh. They send you up north, son. Send you up north, B. And they started
being dead ass. You're dead ass. Because
and they started.
My New York friends used to hide in my house in Jersey. Yep, for real.
And so they started shaping Negroes' behavior and how they did stuff, and they pushed a lot of the drug stuff into the periphery. or not the periphery, just in a few neighborhoods where obviously Black and brown people invited that type of business into their neighborhoods, and then everybody else was free to prosper. That's why New York exploded with animal spirits, the creative juices. Like, people started moving there. Now all the big corporations, they want to get the hell out of there because they literally forgot everything they did to make the place as successful as they did. Well, it took a Republican, so.
AFR, keep me honest. Didn't all the niggas start to move to Bergen County? All of them.
Yeah, they got the hell out of there. They got the hell out of there. They
all moved to Bergen County, which is where I live, which is where I went to private school. And so, like, they left New York City.
Yeah, they went to Connecticut. They went to New Jersey.
And they moved to the upper echelon of New Jersey, which is where I come from, which is why I sound probably the way I sound to you guys. Yeah. All of that.
And that's why you have people like me and Unlikely got the hell out of there.
Yeah. So they all moved up to where I was. We're talking Teaneck, Inglewood, Montville, Franklin Lakes, Ridgewood, all of that. That's where I went to school. Okay? That's where I went to school. That's why you have me and my sister and my brothers.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pop.
Y'all killing me with this shit.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take all
What
your
more do you want from me?
So that's pretty much bigger, medium, second tier cities or second medium sized cities around America that formerly were Republican or conservative and or fiscally conservative. And I'm not going to say they were like socially conservative. They need to take their power back and have these mayors that are conservative and just start running with it. You'll have 1,000 Giuliani success stories around America if people just did that.
So here's the thing, AFR, because Greg also comes from the same kind of like family that I come from, but he was built with or born with the white guilt. Like other people that weren't me, that were also probably Black or a person of color, they were downtrodden. And his dad put in his mind that, no, we need to take care of them. So he had that white guilt savior kind of thing. And I was like, yo, pause, stop it. You're not doing that to me. Like, what the fuck is this about? Like, no. We're not doing
Nina,
that.
one thing I'll say about the white guilt thing, that's already bad enough for white people. But I think another part that's really more dangerous and more insidious is really the critical theory and the Marxism coupled with the white guilt. That,
yes, and he was a Marxist.
Hold on. And so white guilt is just like, okay, I'll let an idiot Black person off for something they don't deserve to get off for. That's one thing. But then when you couple that with the Marxism and the white guilt or the other stuff I said, it or critical theory, it wants to deconstruct whiteness and get rid of whiteness to supplant whiteness with something else, and that's the worst part about all of this.
And that's exactly what he went through. He went through that at Columbia. He told me that he got over that once he went to graduate school in Cambridge. So he left the country, went to England, and we met a short time after that. But he said that when he was at Columbia University, he became a Marxist, but he was a privileged Marxist. Like, he comes from fucking money. I'm sorry to be cursing. He comes from fucking money. And then he still felt bad for people that didn't look like him. I was like, yo, get over yourself. Get over yourself. So when he was trying to chase me back in the day, I was like, yeah, no, we're not doing this. Nope, stop it. Now, so going forward, he learned that once he was living in England, and then he came back to the United States, he was like, okay, that's not reality. That was a theory, meaning the Marxism theory. And he spent a lot of time trying to decompress that in his mind, like, okay, this is not reality. And so with that said, stuff happens, get married, have kids, blah, 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 blah. And now, so here we are now. And so now he's with me, right? And I'm like on some stuff that, like, I think basically I'm trying to like take the baton from my brothers, because all my brothers are married and with kids and stuff like that. But it's like, no, we're not doing this anymore. We're not doing this anymore, because for the longest time, AFR, I will tell you, and I will tell you too, CT, I felt so guilty being biracial. I felt bad about it. So I had the beige guilt that I talked about. And so there was a point where I was militant as F, but I'm not that person anymore. So anyone who's gonna put some weird shit in the chat, then they can do that. But no, I'm not that person anymore. I'm okay with being half black, half white, because I promise you, the black that comes from my family ain't from America. It's from Europe, and Europe has had its own problems, right? So with that said, what I'm seeding into the new world, and I'm telling this to you, AFR, because I'm talking to you, is a new understanding of what it means to be a person of color. And I say that with all of my agency. I'm a person of color, I'm biracial, and then, yes, we don't have the same seed of American, whatever the blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Nina, can I, one thing I'll say is one of the biggest disservice I think the American identity has done to biracial people, whether it be black and white, white and Asian, whatever, is that all sides, for some reason, want to either be nice or not be nice to biracials on how they feel. Because I can tell you, growing up, where I've seen black people be the most racist and the most colorist towards light-skinned people, but then I also seen the opposite, where they will bend over backwards for a light skin or a quote unquote light bright or whatever. But one thing I've seen is that people try to push biracials into a racial category for whatever reason. Like, I've seen black people try to be like, oh, they black, or they're not black, they're not black. And it just sucks, because that sends so many mixed signals and a lot of confusion, where people just want to be like respected and like, if you're in close proximity to a group, just accept them, especially if they're part or whatever. But I don't know, it's a confusing thing. But I think biracials have really been done wrong because of white folks and black folks and Asian folks is like, identity issues, especially in America. So I think it's something that people are finding a positive avenue to where they can't be shamed for who they are, and they're just trying to be positive people and productive people in general. And I think that's the key to solving all these identity issues.
Hey, let me read the super chat real quick. CT, respectfully, this is from Lee. Cleveland is Somalia with the casino. Watch your mouth. It's not. Hold on, guys. Let me just play the rest of the video real quick. Okay, let me see. Let's play the rest of the video.
This is why you don't like talking to black women, Larry Elder? Wow. Baltimore. Freddie Gray a few years ago.
No. That's mayors. I'm not talking. I said system.
I'm
Remember,
going to tell you
system.
about this system if you allow me to finish my point.
I'm not talking about somebody elected and doing a job, sir. I asked what system did we create? What financial
Okay, let's
system
talk
did we
about the
create?
system of one of the largest.
Let him say his point,
Thank you.
man.
One of the systems of one of the largest cities in America, Baltimore. Freddie Gray died in police custody a few years ago. The mayor was black. The head of the police department was black. Number two.
It's not in charge of the system, but go ahead.
Number two person in charge of the police department was black. All of city council, Democrats, majority black.
Still not in charge of the system.
Wow. Six officers charged, 3 of them were black. A judge before whom 2 of the officers tried their case, found him not guilty, was black.
Still not in charge of the system.
The city intendant of public schools was black. The county superintendent of public schools is black. The attorney general at the time, Loretta Lynch, is black, as was the president of the United States, was black. And yet,
still not in charge of the system. I asked you a simple question, sir.
Well, Wanda Sykes said when Barack Obama got elected, how are you going to complain about the man when you are the man? Now, from the president to the attorney general to the state attorney to the mayor to the head of the police department to the commissions of the schools in the city and in the county to the majority of city council in that city, all of them are black. And you're still saying that we don't run anything?
So who's in charge of the
No.
system,
I said who created the system. I didn't say we didn't run anything. I challenged a lot of those black leaders, by the way. I said when we talk about the system, what black people have been in charge of any system. I'm not talking about a position. I'm not talking about a mayor. You know good
so
well
you're basically saying that they're black faces that are still in those positions, but they're still being
correct.
part
Similar
of the
to you, Mr.
system.
Elder. You're a black face in a position in the conservative movement. They're just the same. They're just on the other side. I'm talking
ignorant shit.
What are you then, bitch?
So then when Martin Luther King said in 1966, I believe there could be a black president in about 40 years' time, then it really doesn't matter if there's one or isn't. Because nothing changes. He was naive.
The system also killed him as well. Well, we know that the FBI and the CIA also killed him. That system. You realize that, correct?
It was the FBI and the Memphis Police Department, but
killed him.
Right. That was also part of Pro Hotel through the system.
Pro who? Pro Hotel.
Correct.
Not correct.
Hotel Pro.
Not correct. He was
so the FBI didn't have anything to do with it. The CIA didn't have anything to do with it.
This big hoop earring ass Aunt Jemima, and I'm telling you, Hoover was definitely
smart.
Like, come on. I didn't say he wasn't.
See, so CT, this is like, right. So this is part of that stuff that I tell you that I don't understand. So when I'm talking to you out of pocket and I don't get it, this is part of I don't get it. Like, what the hell is she talking about? I don't get it.
Why is she being so vicious to an elder? This man has served and been in political positions of power. And it's like, bro, this is your elder. At least show him some respect. This man is 74 years old and you're going at him like he's like a little kid. See, that's the thing. Like, a lot of black women think that, I mean, anybody that they disagree with, they try and treat them like they badass kids. Like, have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Like, they always try and minimize a person and talk to them with this childlike, demeanor, or it's wild to me.
And it seems like she
Can I ask you guys a question? Because I'm looking at the panel right now and it's clearly full of black men. Can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Jesus. Why would you want to date a black woman? I'm asking a goddamn question.
Nina, I love black women. That's why I'm going to Africa.
Okay. I'm just asking a question. Because, my God. Like, CT, so seriously. I used to talk to my brothers about this, and no, it has nothing to do with women of color. It's just black Americans. Y'all are just
Hey, Nina, like Black Gen Z said it. He hit it correctly when he was like, his preference is like kind of hippie black chicks or whatever with like good demeanor. That's because unfortunately they're exceptionally rare with their all natural hair, nice feminine demeanor. And unfortunately, we don't see a lot of them. That's why every race of men, she's a hot commodity. A white man will marry her, Asian man, any man, because they recognize that. They see she's different and she acts different. And the proof is in the pudding. So that's why those chicks, they're already usually married at an early age. So it is what it is. So like they're out there. They're just already coupled with somebody at an early age.
There's a few people that have said that I'm a divester in the comments or whatever. Like, no, I'm not. Obviously, hello, look at me. But Americans, you're weird. You're weird. You're effing weird. Like, no, you could not live in my household. My brothers would never approve of you. And I told you one of my brothers is in the chat. So no.
All right, let's play some more of it real quick.
Them? I mean, what's your evidence of that?
Oh, no,
that's a pretty serious charge.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Pretty serious charge.
Yeah.
Serious charge requires serious evidence.
Yeah.
What is your
Mr.
enforcement
LBU.
law proposal? Yeah, again, as I said before the past, I'll say it again. This woman is too dumb to be on this show. I'm so serious. I don't know what else to say, bro. She does the same thing, okay? She asks these questions to try to pretend like she's so damn smart when you're not. Again, this is what happens when people try to pretend they're smarter than they are. They end up just sounding really stupid, right? She asked this man, can you give me an example of a system that black people are in charge of, right? That black people are running. Larry Elder gives her a clear as day example. Baltimore, which a city by definition is a system, ran by all black people from top to bottom. Okay, Larry Elder went through a list of officials in the city who are black, right? Who are running things, who are in charge. And again, he didn't just say, well, the mayor's black, therefore the system is ran by black people. No, he went further than that. Okay, he talked about how there are various parts of the system that are ran by black people in that city, named it all, right? And this woman, not good enough, right? Not good. That's not what I'm talking about. Well, what the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about, right? If you're not talking about that system, what are you talking about? Are you talking about some evil cabal of white people that's at the top of the top, right? That apparently is above the president of the United States. They're above any mayor, any leader in this country, any politician. Is that what you're talking about? Because it sounds to me like she's going into conspiracy. Black conservative perspective, even if there was a cabal controlling everything and black people were controlling that, she would still say that ain't the system because she'll want aliens at that point. She'll say aliens controlling everything now.
And if you point out those white people, are they really white people or are they small hats? So
exactly. Bob with the $2.
She won't address that one. She won't address that one, I guarantee.
Bob with the $2 super chat says, Gen Z 100 on the black women. Bob also says, Nina, exactly. That's why I don't date black women. Let me see. 777, you can call in to get your last word. If nobody's going to extend the show, I'm going to just say, anybody have any last words? Any last words, Mo?
The last word I got to say is just respect your elders. As much as you think you know everything, there's somebody that knows more than you. And Larry Elder knew more than every one of those people in the panel. Their combined IQ could not compare to Larry Elder, hands down.
No, it couldn't. No.
So that's why I admire Larry Elder. He's actually somebody I follow a lot because he talks about certain issues that I can agree with.
Yeah.
And he's somebody that, not only black people, but anybody could fashion themselves towards. Anybody.
Thank you so much, Mo. Absolutely. Any last words to AFR? I'm gonna get the hell out. I'm gonna end the show early.
Yes. I will say, just young black people in general, just not black men, get your damn passport and go travel, meet different people, have different pursuits in life, have fun, love your family, the ones that you have, your friends, the people that care about you and welcome you as a person. Go seek that instead of trying to find your validation in a group or a community of people that don't value you, will never value you, and they will never pour into you and invest in you to be successful. So, and sometimes those people are in our own family. And with that, I will land the plane, and make sure you subscribe to Gen Z Mindset. Hit that man with the Cash App, hit CT with a Cash App, and subscribe to my channel, America First Rifleman, and have a great summer.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, AFR. Black Gen Z, thank you so much for rocking it out the whole day. Any last words, sir?
Yeah, so I really appreciate you letting me come on. You're a great host, hilarious, and I love the work that you do. I just want to let the people know that, you know, we can inflict change. We do have a say in this country. We have a say of how it's going. We have a say of where it's going to end up. And just, you know, you have to believe that your voice matters. You have to believe that your vote matters, and you have to, you know, sometimes take matters into your own hands in converting the people who are misguided. You know, with that being said, we do have to combat the censorship on social media. My YouTube channel is completely demonetized and censored on a regular basis, even though I post every day. So, you know, make sure you support the guys that you believe in. Make sure you support the guys that are presenting a message that you can follow and agree with. You know, whether that be with a view, a subscription, a like, or whatnot, commenting in Chaotic's stream or leaving a comment after the stream. You know, you have to support the people who are brave enough to, one, show their face and speak up against, you know, the issues that we have. Otherwise, these issues will continue to persist. If we don't acknowledge that we have a problem, then this problem will never be solved. And I see a lot of people in the Black community specifically absolving Black people of any culpability in this issue. And you can't just pawn this issue off to, white supremacy, because that is not a solution. So I'm pushing a campaign called No Solutions, KNOW Solutions, okay, hashtag KNOW Solutions, because we need to figure out how we can learn and come to know solutions. Otherwise, there will be no solutions.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, CT.
Absolutely. Guys, please go over and subscribe once again to Black Gen Z Mindset. Thank you so much, man.
Yes, sir. Make America great again. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.